What is up, everybody? It is Grave Fiction here again with another video, and today I decided that I want to kind of go back down memory lane again, which will be delving into the first time I ever made my own webcomic. So I talked about previously about the novel, the graphic novel that I had commissioned, like the art commissioned for, and I just focused on the writing. But after that, during pretty much the COVID era, which the COVID era was pretty much where a lot of people lost their jobs. So pretty much at that time, so many people went into content creation, social media influencers. People started focusing really hard on their art, their YouTube channels. TikTok became a thing. And if you had started back then and stuck with it, you probably would have a decent following. Now, if you're like someone like me, I'm not gonna lie, when COVID happened, I kind of just fell into a slump, kind of gave up. And where we are now is me trying to currently find my way back to where I was getting to. And I'm trying to have fun while I'm doing that. But I want to just delve into memory lane with this webcomic that I did, and reflecting on it, I kind of got that same feeling when I was looking at my old novels. Now, I'm not going to say it was completely trash, but the art was not there. Like, you could tell you could tell I was very much an amateur, and I was learning anatomy and all that stuff. And I don't really consider myself an artist. I'm just a person that really likes to do storytelling, and being that, it's very expensive to try to find an artist. Trying to find ways to do it yourself in order to just put the story out there is always good. And when I got into digital art, I started I basically started watching tutorials and videos from different YouTubers, like people like White Manga and so on and so such. Even my friend MKD, who kind of gave me some tips on how to draw and all that stuff. And there was some YouTubers who they told me that you can use 3D models as reference when you do digital. And digital drawing feels so awkward it still very much feels awkward for me compared to like when I'm just trying to doodle something on paper, like what you can see me doing while the video plays along. That I'm more comfortable on paper. It just has a different feel, where like when you try to transition to digital, it's such a huge learning curve. And when I first started, I had like the ideas of the characters and stuff like that, and I was kind of like making this story up as I went along. And the story called Supernatural Dark Age was about two twin siblings going to this supernatural academy where people of different races all over this fantasy world come together, where they learn to work together. They learn how to control their magic, learn about the history of the world and how a lot of their people fell into different wars, and just learning about each other so where they can connect and form bonds and maintain peace. That was the intent when I was writing the story. And looking back, I think the idea was pretty good. I think I had needed to sit down more and just kind of like brainstorm and flesh out the story. But it did kind of like be the start of where I could tell that I was growing using digital art, because there's like the first version of chapter 1 looks like this, and the twins, they didn't look like twins per se. Like, they kind of were a little off, because I think, if I remember correctly, the character Carter, he had like orange spiky hair, and then his sister Carson, she had like dark brown hair, and they didn't look alike at all. And then I think I tried to go and revamp that chapter, and by then I was slowly getting the hang of the feel for it, And I think that was 2022 when I started the redesign of those two characters. They both had the same color hair, same complexion. What was cool about what I did was they have like, I think it's called heterochromia, where you have like two different eye colors. And Carter, I think he had I think it was purple and orange or something like that. And I think he had his left eye was orange while Carson's left eye was purple or something. I can't remember. But yeah, so when I revamped it, I even revamped the side characters that was going to be introduced. And I think some of the side characters was Reyna, Kylum. I think the dude's name was Ezra. He was like a dragonkin or whatever I called him, Anthro Dragon or something like that. There was a character named Shannon Hollow. There was a character named Arthur, who Arthur was gonna be like this douchebag prince who the only reason he's there is basically because of punishment from his family. So he's like, yo, he thinks everybody's beneath him and stuff like that. So it was going to be a really cool little storyline that had a little cool webcomic that had like a lot of varying characters with different backgrounds. And they will all have their own special arcs where you would see them kind of grow. I think when I revamped it, there was a conspiracy theory with, I think, someone in the council board that kind of like governs the magic world, as well as like oversaw the school. There was that, and then I think the big bad was I think it was like a group of supernatural beings where there was a vampire, there was a character that was called an Oni, there was an elf-like character, and I think there was like a beastkin guy. Like they were going to be this big group of villains that kind of were basically involved in a lot of the conflict that was to come in the webcomic. And it was a bit of an ambitious webcomic, if I'm being honest. But at the time, I had more time and I had more focus, so I was getting out chapters like crazy, and I think it was going pretty well. It's just, I think life hit me. Of course, once again, I let my confidence be shaken again. And looking back, I think that was one of my biggest weaknesses growing up, as well as like when it came to trying to find myself in my art and my creative space. I didn't have confidence in myself because I was constantly like thinking of outside forces judging what I would put out. You know, the masses criticizing, and it affected me to where I think inevitably, I think I got to like chapter 22 and I gave up on the webcomic. Now, I did try to republish it after deleting it, which I don't know why I delete some of the stuff, because some of the stuff, I think it shows potential, because the first iteration of Carter and Carson's story actually was a Wattpad novel, ironically, and it was called Forbidden. And it was supposed to be like a supernatural romance. It was a totally different vibe than the webcomic. And I might even do a video where I specifically talk about that, because that actually was a pretty cool story, even though I've lost it. But yeah, anyway, Supernatural Dark Age, I republished it, but I think only 16 chapters are available now because I lost one of the chapters, one or two of the chapters. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. Now, will I ever go back to and try to like rewrite this story? Who knows? If I have more time and maybe if people support the story and there's enough demand for it, I might try to come back and maybe redo it and make it better, but utilizing the blueprint of what I had. But yeah. Anyway, that's all I had for today. I just kind of wanted to go down memory lane with you guys on Supernatural Dark Age. But yeah, as always, like, comment, subscribe. If there's anything that you want me to talk about, whether it's about writing, storytelling, and stuff like that, just leave it in the comment And thanks for tuning in as always. Signing off.